the thing about being an entrepreneur, the first step of an entrepreneur is right after you come up with a good idea and you start doing it. If you're listening to this podcast, you understand it. You want that fire in your life. This is fire you're playing with. Please understand it. Business is fire. Dreams are formed actually on paper, because at the end of the day, that dream that you have, you want to turn it into physical paper. A lot of information on what direction you need to go. And then after that, you make your plan. 1, 2, 3, 4. And make sure you remember.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. In today's episode, we are joined by Aamir Shakir, CEO and co-inventor of Robo Sous Chef. He is not only revolutionizing the kitchen with smart robotics, he's also an expert on e-commerce. So stay tuned for some amazing insights and more specifically how to bring bold ideas into life. And if you already have not subscribed to the channel, this is the perfect time to hit that subscribe button. So let's begin. Hello, Aamir. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you? Doing great.
I'm good. Thanks. Whereabouts in the country are you joining us from?
I'm right now sitting in East Brunswick, but headquarters and home is in Princeton, New Jersey.
Princeton, New Jersey. Excellent. Oh, down here in Southern California, it was pretty pleasant past 2-3 days. How's it at your neck of the woods?
In New Jersey, we're going through a heat wave. It's really nice, though. Honestly, the last week was just downpour, even though it's like 100 degrees out today. I'm outside. I don't care. We're enjoying the sun. No complaints over here. It was a long winter.
I know winter was pretty long, and especially in the East Coast, it was pretty harsh too.
Yeah, it was not hiding in your homes for 6 months. That's the East Coast, Northeast.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So before we begin, Aamir, I would like to know, would you please tell us about yourself, especially, the earlier days of when you started your entrepreneurship?
Sure. Okay. So my name is Aamir. Everyone knows that. I'm currently working in robotics, but my business into entrepreneurship started 25 years ago. I like to say 25 years, but it's something that's much longer. But I kind of define that by the date I first made actual money. I believe when you actually finally make money, that's when you call yourself an entrepreneur. So that was the first time. I remember it was 25 years ago. And like most things that happen in your life, they can come out of chance. But this is something that I always like to tell people, is that some things in your life happen because you will it. Like I will chance. Like I'm lucky because I wanted to be in business. I looked for every opportunity, and I had at least, I think, 10 failed businesses prior to that date where I say I started making money. So 25 years ago is when I became a successful entrepreneur. Let's call it that.
Fantastic. That's so nice. So you would have experienced a lot of trial and error and experimenting with so many ideas.
Yeah, I'm like my mother. I have ADHD too, I like to try everything. One of my hobbies is trying hobbies. I want to try everything. I want to learn everything. And that coupled with an entrepreneurship bug, which is I enjoy finding things that are that are interesting. I find opportunities. It makes it almost goes hand in hand with my personality. So it's something that really kind of fit me really, really well early on.
Awesome. So you are a hands-on person.
No, but that's yeah, hands-on. Like I believe that everyone, if you want to do something, you should know what you're doing. I found that the businesses that I did the worst in, or the ideas that didn't work out for me, generally are those that I had no clue what I was doing. Having an understanding of what is it that you really want to do, you can go do. Like one day, if I want to open a restaurant, I have to, like I told myself, if I ever wanted a restaurant, I first need to go work at one. Because you need to understand it. You need to feel it. You got to know what you're doing. That's a big thing about entrepreneurship. Education never, ever, ever stops.
So true. You need to know how things work. Learning at school and listening to podcasts like this and so many other ways, reading books and even talking to entrepreneurs for some experience and stuff. But it's so different when you actually do it yourself. And every small bits and pieces of the puzzle piece has to fit in to call it a business, or even a successful action. So yeah, I totally agree.
I was saying, yeah, exactly like what you're saying is that you really want to, if you want to do something, think about it long term, like really that you want to do this. Do you like it? Like really know, is that something you're committed to? Do you believe in it? It's very, very important.
Hmm. Agreed. So where did you start your businesses? The before you made money, or even later on, whatever you would like to share.
The first time I actually made money, because that's actually where the story begins, where it's fun, because failures are failures, but failures teach you a lot. They teach you what not to do in the future, right?
Mm.
So from my previous multiple failures, I had a software company, didn't make any money. I had a buying, selling, closeouts, didn't make any money. I did a flea market, didn't make any money. I had an ice cream shop, didn't make any money.
Mm-hmm.
The first time that I actually experienced that I could make money, it happened by error. I ended up having a product. I had a carpet I didn't need. I put it on eBay, and next thing I knew, like without even trying anything, I made money. Now this is 2001. It's a different world. Um, it's a world where technology is still new for people. Not everyone's got a smartphone, guys, right? Not everyone can get onto the internet and just click buy. So eBay was something really interesting. It was something totally brand new, and it was the easiest money I ever made. You would just put something online, and without as so much as talking to a client, they bought it, they wrote you something nice, you sent them something nice, everyone's happy. They got a great value, and it changed my life. I remember I started my eBay journey. It took me only in 2001 about 4 months to call it quits. And I'm telling you that was a big decision because I was a senior developer in JP Morgan with a really good job, making lots of money. And I remember at that time I asked my wife, I was like, listen, so I don't want to do that anymore, And she's like, well, do you think you can make it? I was like, I think I can. And that little bit of saving, a little bit of hard work, um, it paid off. 25 years later, I'm still doing the same thing. Now, I'm not selling anything on eBay anymore. That's the life of business. Every day you have to, that's the true test of a business person. It's, can you make 50 number one hits on the radio? Every
Mm.
day you have to reinvent yourself. The thing you did yesterday doesn't work tomorrow. So that level of education and dedication shows not on the first day, because that's the fun part when you're making the posters and you're making those business cards, but you now have to go out and give those out. You got to do that hard work. And the closer you are to your product, the smaller in some cases you start. It gives you the long runway to make all the mistakes you need to. Because most of us are starting, most people I know today that you're in your group right now are probably saying, okay, listen, I don't have $20,000. How do I start? It starts with your feet, it starts with your hands, and it starts with your mouth. Those are all free. You're playing on TikTok, put it down and do something else. If you were just messing around with video games, make this your video game. Start off with having something that you find that's fun in business and try it. You'll see that you'll make 100 mistakes right away. You'll find 100 things you don't want to do right away, and it'll slowly lead you to the path of your success.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, sticking on and actually doing your bit, even after, as you said, you had so many failed businesses. Sorry to say, but yeah, you did mention that. So it is like only if you kept up and you tried once more, once more, once more, and then you definitely have something beautiful coming out of it.
Yeah, it comes from a lot of discipline, of understanding that you're going to want to try something, but you should also set goals for yourself. And it's very tempting to go big. It's always tempting to, hey, you know what? I have this great idea. One of the things I love to do with my great ideas is I go to my network. This is one of the best secrets you can say to anybody. Go to your network and say, hey guys, I have this great idea for X, Y, and Z. Can you guys tell me why this is a terrible idea? The reason that is important is because everybody loves to come after you failed and say, I told you that was going to be a bad idea if you would have done this or that. And I go, the worst thing you can have in an idea is that you don't see it to fruition and you left with that, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like, I'll never open another ice cream business, right? I understood what's good about it, what's bad about it. Now, I might want to open it for those reasons, but I know that it didn't fit what I was looking for. So I stopped. It was terrible to sell the truck, and it was terrible to close the thing, and it was hurtful and all that sadness. But you know what? At the end of the day, it didn't meet what I was looking for. So keep moving. You'll find the next thing. So don't be afraid to fail. Like, if you're afraid to fail, it's going to be really painful. Like, understand you're gonna fail many, 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 many times. Even when you're successful, you're gonna fail in those processes many times. The more things you do, people are gonna point at you and say, ha, 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 you messed up. The best way for nobody to bother you is don't do anything. So if you're afraid about other people's thoughts, that's when you talk and you say, hey, listen, tell me what's wrong, mom. Hey, sis. Hey, buddy. Throw it at your friends. Tell everybody I have this great idea before you spend $1, because you'll find that most things that you're thinking about might not be done for a reason too, and you can fine tune those ideas into something that might make you something.
Great. Yeah. In our previous episodes, we have come across, knowing your customers. You have to do the reverse engineering where you know who you are selling it to, or your target audience, and then you plan your business accordingly, even the wordings. So what's your experience in that area?
Fake it till you make it. So some of it you need to go out and reach. I advise a lot of people who are just going to list something for the first time on Amazon or anywhere in any market. I go put a listing up. Facebook's one of the best. If you want to let's say you want to start selling product A, go put it on Facebook Marketplace. And if somebody writes, he's told me, okay, I sold it. But at least you saw people were interested in it. Did someone have interest in that tutoring? Like, you'll spend 6 years trying to say, I want to open this business doing this service. How about this? Why don't you offer this service online? And when somebody is interested in it, then you make an investment. Don't say you're going to go do 15 things and then say, oh, like, let's say you want to start a lawn business. You go buy the lawnmower, you buy the machine, you buy the trimmer, you do the stuff, you get the truck, you letter the whole thing. And then you put the thing up on Facebook and nobody wants your lawn to be cut. What did you do? You spend months, thousands of dollars, and then you didn't even get to fruition. Hey, guess what? Put down $25 lawn cuts. If you start getting calls off the hook, figure out how many lawnmowers you need. So it can be done forward and backwards. Sometimes looking into the market and seeing what people are looking for is a great way to really see where you should be too. So things like that, experimenting small, making tons of small experiments gets you a lot of information on what direction you need to go. And then after that, you make your plan, 1, 2, 3, 4. And make sure you remember, start with your smallest number. If you think you can make 10, write down 1. Because let me tell you something, most experiences that I've had in businesses is that I didn't realize how little I was going to make and how much the costs really were going to be. You'll be surprised that pinch is a lot harder than you think it is. You're like, oh, why? I can make so much money on this. And then you realize, oh, okay, that's why nobody does it. And you'll sometimes realize some of your ideas have been tried before and they've been failed before. But making those first steps of understanding your numbers, like really sit down and write down, I think I'm going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think my costs are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and raise those costs and reduce those profits. And you kind of make a guesstimate in between, because that's what it really comes down to, understanding and forecasting and really playing with numbers. Like, you got to get used to it. If you just have a great idea and you haven't put it on a sheet of paper, you're not a businessman. You're just an idea guy. You're just somebody who has a dream. Dreams are formed actually on paper, because at the end of the day, that dream that you have, you want to turn it into physical paper. But if you don't do the homework, you won't know why you're successful or failing. And that's just as bad as not knowing where you're going. So putting things on paper and be flexible. Who cares? If it's not due this Monday, all right, you want to put another week, fine, but write it down. I'll do it next week. But make sure that those numbers are written down at least to the best of your ability once. because without that, you have no clue what you're doing.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. You need to have a kind of framework for yourself so that you know where you're leading.
Mhm.
Got it. So you also mentioned about Amazon and eBay. So if we are in your experience, when you compared your experience during your eBay days and you moved to Amazon as a seller, how was your experience?
The experience was amazing. I spent, let's say, from 2001 to 2012, eBay was one of the main marketplaces that I made money. And in 2011, Amazon kind of started really forming into a market that we were surprised that exceeded our eBay sales within the first month, 2 months. I remember the first time that it was around Thanksgiving, like 2013, 2014. I think it was 2014. Um, we used to have, like, we'd have labels, and I remember I came in the office after Black Friday, and I yelled at my shipping guy. I was like, "What? You made a mistake. This is just there's like a stack of labels. Like, what did you do?" He's like, "I don't understand. Their orders are here." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And I remember that was the first time I ever sold out.
Mm.
I sold in that day, it was about 900 items in one day. And at that time, a normal day for me was 20, 30 items. So for me, when I
Oh.
went from 30, 40 items to 900, I said, there's something wrong. And that was the first time I got on I guess the We Chose You website, and you're on the first page on Amazon and you're featured or whatever. But I remember it was like, wow, this is where I live now. I mean,
Mm.
that's where eBay became like, okay, somebody else do eBay. I got to focus just on this new thing because I've never seen a highway this wide and this long before. And Amazon was such a great thing because also the way they consolidated the business was the winner gets it all. That's kind of how Amazon is. The winner gets it all and everybody else kind of loses. Like if you're not on the top five on Amazon, you just don't exist. Versus on eBay, everybody gets a little bit. That's kind of like, the eBay marketplace standard where, everybody gets a chance. But on Amazon, it's if you're not on page one, you might as well not even play the game.
Mm.
Like you might have a lot of Amazon sellers on there right now going, hey, I'm not making the money I thought I was going to make. Why? You're not on page one.
Got you. So am I right in saying that you got your foot in the door with eBay and then you slowly progressed to Amazon as a seller?
Yeah, I mean, there was many stops along the way. We did websites. We had prior to Shopify, we had designed we did the old school, like we got to go make a website. So we had a website. The website was really good from 2007 to 2012. But again, like those transitions happen. Like your business transforms. Like I learned from one of these very famous social media influencers, Gary V. He talks a lot about social media, and he talks about talking to people. He says, he's like, I don't care if you're on YouTube or Instagram or X or you're on this one or that one. Your job is to get the notice out. Your job is to talk. Your job is to tell people what you want to say. And whatever medium, tomorrow it's going to be helicopter or whatever they're going to call it tomorrow, right? And that is where, if that's the loudest place to talk, that's where you want to speak. You want to find the market that matches you. And in online retail, Amazon is king right now. It's still, they're eating up the entire market. It's becoming the place where you begin your search for what you want to go buy. It's still, it currently, it's getting even more and more, has even more market share than it had back in 2015, 16, 17, when we were becoming very successful. Amazon's now the king of all, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Right, right, yeah. So what's your biggest takeaway from your e-commerce experience?
The biggest takeaway from e-commerce was that in 18 that I learned that, just like I found Amazon, everybody else did too.
Mm.
My business started to decline on Amazon actually in 2018. Revenue continued to rise and profits went down. So, we saw that trend in 19, we saw it in 20, and I started to pivot. So I've been walking away from that business now for the last 7 to 10 years. I've been working on my next project. So I've been working now in robotics. Like now that I made enough money, I can now chase my true passion, which was in robotics. So now I'm working in food automation robotics for hotels, for resorts, for office buildings. So now I completely the Amazon business still exists, but now my focus has changed. I have a team that works on maintaining what we've done, while I focus on the areas of most amount of growth, most amount of future in my business. So now it's all about robotics and food automation.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, before, I would like to know more about how to adapt yourself with the market changes. I would love to know more about your invention, the
Robo Sous
Robo
Chef.
Sous Chef. Yes, please. Tell us everything about it.
So what I learned along the way really helped me in this project coming down. The first thing I learned about why my Amazon business was not successful, or was not going to be forever successful, is that I never really designed a product. I just bought things and sold stuff on Amazon, and it was really, really great. But what I saw was that as sellers came into the marketplace and competition got like the 7 people selling the same thing, and everyone's fighting to the bottom, you realize there's no market there. All it is just selling something for less and less money every day. So in 2016, I started going back to my roots, and my roots are technology. I said, okay, what is it that I want to do? I sat down and I spent like days. I just wrote down every dumb idea I had. I'll call them dumb ideas because some of them really were. In that process, I remember thinking, what are things that everybody needs? What is that solution for 1 billion people? Because there's a very simple saying: if you solve a problem for 1 billion people, you become a billionaire. It's just that concept of how you think. Using the rules that I currently set up in my old business, which is do something unique, do something that's difficult, do something that makes you stand out in the market. And I said, what is something that I feel could do that? There was many different products I wrote down, many different ideas. I actually started working on food automation for tortillas, and I saw that was a really great market to grow into. That you could, at that one time, there was a lot of areas where we said that could be great in robotics. But then I took a pivot from there, I took it into food automation for stir fry and sauteing type food. When I first started doing that, I started, okay, let me take those few steps. So I was working in that direction. And then I found a company that was making a very innovative machine. They had already designed the frame of this work. They had designed the framework, and they were already in full invention mode. And when I saw this machine, which was called the Robot Chef at the time, I said, I really want to be on this project. I said, you guys have done everything that I've thought of, and then some. They had made a machine that was fully automated. Their idea was to make a machine that was fully automated, cloud driven, easy to use, vent free, should be in the front of the house, like a beautiful self-cooking machine. Something that doesn't translate into something that would be words that I would have wrote down as what my machine's requirement. Like beautiful was never a requirement for me. I was like, it's a machine, right? A machine looks like a machine. It's going to be ugly, and it's going to be in the back. No, the team that I was working with that designed the Robot Chef at the time was beautiful. The only thing was, I realized it's not a chef. It's a sous chef. It's something that helps the kitchen, not the leader and the chef. And that's where business, we sat down with the team. I said, you have a marketing issue, you have a technology issue. And that's where I took all of what I knew. I brought my entire network of years of people that I worked with. I had a food safety friend who worked in industrial kitchens. I was like, I brought him in. I brought in friends from finance. I brought in my friends from technology. I brought in my friends who know how to distribute. And we went to this company and said, listen, we want to become partners. We really want to build this together. We see that you have a great frame, but it doesn't know how to exist in the world. So we spent the next, oh my God, years. It was about 5 years of sitting, waiting, developing, hoping, dreaming for this product to be born. After which we then had to wait again because COVID came in and delayed everything. We were supposed to just launch in China, and right behind the United States, we had a long wait of almost 4 years to meet all food safety requirements. So it was such a difficult time where you're like, is this idea what I still want to do? There was so many questions, but I said, no, it's still exactly what I want to do. And it was interesting. So we brought the first machines in the end of 2023, and it was really exciting. It's like a brand new thing, something completely outside of the Amazon world. There's no more walls. I can go as far as I want, because I lived in the Amazon environment, which is if people are selling there today, they understand what I'm talking about. It's like literally a little bit like a police state over there, like you got to follow their rules or they just give you a ticket and there's no one you can talk to. That's what Amazon unfortunately has become. And it was so wonderful to just be able to say, okay, I can pick up the phone, and I can call whoever I want, and I can show them this great technology. So it was very freeing again to become again an entrepreneur again. So it was really, really nice.
Yeah, I think persistence here is such a huge key because you already waited for years and years for the fruition, and then the COVID hits. Another extended delay is frustrating, to say the least. Yeah.
That's the thing about business, you really it comes with a level of dedication that's got to come from you. Like you can work for somebody, they'll tell you what to do. But when you're really responsible and you know that something's not happening, let's say something's wrong and you just, okay, it's Friday. I'll see you on Monday. No, 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 no. That's yours. You're working all weekend now and you're working all night and you're going to work the next day because if it's really that important, you just know how important, you understand how important, because the thing about being an entrepreneur, the first step of an entrepreneur is right after you come up with a good idea and you start doing it, you start hiring people, right? You're responsible
Right.
for those people. You're responsible for those lives. You're in effect telling people, hey, trust me and follow me. And you have to show the group that you know the direction you're going in. And the direction that you're going in is safe and it's good for them because people trust you. They really want the same thing for you sometimes. You end up living the same dreams. So it's really important that you understand that it's going to be you got to be really responsible. It's really hard, but it's also really joyful and a lot of fun because you get to be the head of the chicken and not the tail of the donkey, right? Because you can
True.
work for a giant organization. I did. I worked for UPS in Mahwah, New Jersey. What a wonderful organization. Wonderful people to work with. I loved it there. Problem, nothing you did could happen. Like nothing you wanted to do could just happen. Like you were on the bottom of a mountain trying to throw a stone on top of the peak. Good luck. Like you can tell
Yeah.
them anything you want to tell them, but you can't move anything. Versus when you're in your own environment, like, hey, we want to go left. The whole thing moves left. Oh, we're going to go right. Now, you got to focus, right? But if you understand where you're going and you wrote down your plan, you know where you're going. But then again, you get to control that pathway. If you really just see it's not working, like right now, like I closed my construction company. I had one too at one time. And I realized I'm like, look, we're not making any money. No matter
Right.
how many houses I try to flip, no matter how much money I'm doing my Airbnb, it's just not making money anymore. So I'm like, why are we continuing this? Let's sell those assets. Let's move away and let's go focus on something else. So, knowing if you're going the right pathway is important. And then behind it, knowing that the dedication you have to have, it needs to be such too.
Yeah, I love your approach actually. You're not, you do everything you can in your capacity and start a new business, new venture, new experiment, but you know when to call it, okay, it doesn't work anymore,
That's
so
the hard
just
one. That's the
pivot.
hard. I tell
That's,
you, like to walk away is harder than you can imagine. Like to let your dream die and you have so many of them, what you do is you just understand that there will be a better dream and you can create your own luck every single day. Like I make luck, like I can just make luck. And it comes from education. It comes from hard work and understanding that you're going to do whatever it takes to make it successful. And luck just
mm,
shows up. You just got to keep being there and luck shows up again. It keeps coming around. There's always another thing you can do.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah. I have a little question for our audience today. And it says, if money was no object, where would you travel to and why? So please
Oh my.
leave us your thoughts on the comments and let's see.
Um, I'll tell you where I went, and I think I would want to go again. I go every year. By the way, one of the best I know that you asked the question. So I like to have fun after I get my work done. So two places that I travel every year. I travel the same place every year to China for the Canton Fair. By the way, the biggest show in the world. You got to go see it. After that show, I always have free time, and I'm always in the Far East. I visited Phuket in Thailand recently. Oh my God, what a heaven that is. Internet's slow. You're near the water. It's always warm. Um, you're 12 hours away from everybody, so nobody can call you. Um, the food is absolutely stunning. You get to watch crazy things you've never seen before. Phuket, I wouldn't mind. And it was, by the way, ultra affordable. For those business people out there who are working so hard, you like save up a little bit money, you can make it stretch it really, really, really long in Phuket. Phuket, Thailand is amazing.
Awesome. Yeah. We should plan some trip sometime with my family. Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. Right. So you are an inventor, also a business the owner. So how do you actually balance both? You have, I mean, one advantage I understand straight away is that you have seen both ends. Like what's the requirement and what you can provide to meet the requirement. So how do you balance actually?
It's tough. It comes from it's really, really tough. Balance is, I think, one of the really tough parts about being a business owner. Not only am I an inventor, not only am I a businessman, I'm also a father, I'm also a son, I'm also this, I'm also that. And by the way, hey, take care of yourself too, right? So all those things have to be balanced. It's not just, oh, and your physical health. I mean, there's so many things you have to balance. Um, the way you do it is you put your effort in the most important things at that point. So when there was a time for invention, it was a time for invention. And now that we're taking to market, I say, okay, close the invention guy. We got to go make some money. Hate to say it, it's part of the job. Got to go make some money so then we can make the next invention. Because it's very tempting to want to change the thing you just made. Because I tell you, I don't think I've ever made one thing that the first time I made it that I liked it. The version 2 is always better than my version 1. My version 3 was better than my version 4. Like we're on version 5 on the Robo Chef. We're in version 5. And the reason we got there is because the first 3 versions needed to be adjusted. Not big adjustments, but like you're always tempted to make changes. But once you've made a good product, version 5 is great, by the way, then you have to stop messing around. You now have to take that product and take it to the market and really test now what your dream was. Did I do the right decision? Do I think food automation is the future? Yeah, I still think so. It's wonderful to pick up the phone and have the CEOs of the world pick up the phone. But every business has a life cycle. I believe mine does too. So understanding that part of it's going to be inventing, and part of it's going to be in running it, running your invention, making sure your invention is successful. So like right now, we do have a cycle. Right now, we're in our product cycle where we're selling our products, and then right behind it, we go back to the drawing board and say, what did our customers like and not like? The moment my customer says something, it's funny because the invention team sometimes comes back and says, no, we don't think so, Mr. Shakir. It's like, I don't really care what you think because I'm not saying it. The client said it. And if the client said the machine doesn't have enough power, the machine doesn't have enough power. How are we going to solve what the client's issues are? And unless you really think about your clients, the business never works. So, coming back from an inventor and from a salesperson, knowing both sides is extremely important. You say, no, if I have to spread my time separately, it's a balance, kind of bouncing back and forth. But you always have to remember that at the end of the day, you are a business person and you have to lead the sales of your invention. So kind of goes back and forth, but it's very hard, John. It's very like it's difficult. Like it's a simple. I fight it every day.
Yes, agreed. So true. And it comes with its own hardships and challenges and fun too. So,
Mhm.
while building this machine, this Robo Sous Chef, what was one obstacle you faced and how did you actually overcome that?
One of the major obstacles that we had was our pot. Um, when we first took on the project, we found this pot that the client had in this setup. Sorry, the factory had worked on. They were using a certain type of coating that was not lasting long enough. We did math on it. I said, how can you make this pot that lasts only like 3, 4 days? I go, you got to throw this away. I go, that process might work fine in China because you got the guy who paints it down the street. I go, in a country like the United States, you can't. The product you need to make has to last. So from there, we went into, luckily, I like to play with everything in my life in the last 20 years. So what I went to is I went back to the pot makers and I was like, okay, let's go to the most experienced pot makers in the world. We reached out to everybody. What are all the different coatings? What are all their advantages? Google everything, by the way. Sitting there with steel pans, aluminum pans. Started with normal hand pans that you could find. I looked at all the famous brands like Hexclad. I said, okay, why do I like this? What's in this thing that makes this special? What can we do to now figure out that perfect mixture between durability and nonstick? And it was a really hard process. Right now, I think we found our perfect pot, which is a steel nitrated pot with this special oxidized crazy stuff you find, but it starts with listening to your clients, knowing you have a problem, and that you have no idea what this stuff is, but you need to become an expert in it really, really fast.
Yeah. And you definitely, even though you're a CEO, you got to roll up your sleeves and go visit the pot maker and really find out what the problem is and get it fixed. So you got to be at the source, at the root, grassroots level. So, yeah, it is not a fancy thing that, okay, I'm a CEO and I don't have to worry about anything more now. You are the one who will be like everywhere, I guess.
Yeah, like CEO is such a big name for a small business because, until you're really an organization, it's just you. It's just you. Everything is just you. Like you're the accounting, you're HR, you're the janitorial services as well. And you'll realize that everything is really your responsibility. Because even, by the way, inside my divisions, like we've had many failures, and I'll be sitting there, and they're like, oh, somebody will be trying to say it's not their fault, and I'll go, listen, at the end of the day, it's my fault. It's my fault if I said for us to do that. It's my fault if I thought you could do it and you could not do it. It's my fault if I hired the wrong person because I put the trust in you to do it and I thought you could do it and I didn't check on you that if you did it, because everything goes back to you. You're the CEO. If you don't put the idea in place, the protections in place, again, you're the boss, right? So you have to be really, you need to be really careful. You need to really check on paper, did I follow the rules? Did I do my balance sheet? I know it sounds so boring, guys, doing P&Ls and balance sheets, but that's where you find out where you're going.
Yeah.
If you don't do your P&Ls, you don't even know if you're making money. I know plenty of people who run businesses where they think they're making money and they're putting debt on their credit cards. And then they're selling their stuff, or they don't see the opportunity value they missed out on. All right, listen, you got a great business making $2,000 a month, but guess what? You're a $10,000 person. Are you achieving what your monetary goals are? Are you meeting your social goals, your other goals in life? Because if you let sometimes a business can be the worst thing for you. I have a few people that are in my family who chased my business ideas and, oh, I want to do the same thing. I don't think it's good for you. Sometimes it's the wrong thing for somebody. And I like to tell people, like, hey, listen, like, if you're not truly dedicated to the idea, don't do it. Because it's just a money pit. So understanding your P&Ls, really putting those numbers down, guys, right? Like I tell you, like, for every success, there's 10 failures. Okay. For my case, 99%. Okay. And the only reason that I can still continue the game is because I wrote it down. I took small risks. Like I like to say, like I put in like the tip of my smallest toe goes only in the water. Like all you're doing is cutting my nail, maybe, right? I don't want to lose my whole arm, or I don't want to lose all my equity, because the moment you do that, that's it. You can't play the game no more. It's like you went all in on the wrong idea, and now you can't play anymore because you lost your credit, you lost your equity. What are you gonna do now?
Right. Right. Yeah, you got to be a little mindful and also have patience at the same time.
Very
So,
difficult.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like to tell everybody it's very difficult, but it's really rewarding. It's fun. I still do it, but it is a challenging If you're listening to this podcast, you understand it. You want that fire in your life. This is fire you're playing with. Please understand it. Business is fire.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you've come this far. What would be your advice to your younger self? Say you're 21, just out of college, starting your career. What would you advise yourself?
I would tell myself to slow down and focus. Like the two things that I currently do now, like as I told you, I had so many different businesses. And one of the things I noticed was that when I divided my attention too much, when I thought hey, I'm doing so great over here. Why don't I just pop up this on the side? And why don't I just pop that up on the side? Like that the Airbnb thing I did. I just popped it up on the side. Sure, whatever. I'll buy a couple of houses. Big deal, right? Yeah, you'll realize that because your attention was not there, the success was not there either. You can't replicate your success because you can just put somebody in charge and close your eyes. So what I would tell my younger self is really, Aamir, like if you really want to do something, be dedicated to it. Rather than doing 10 things kind of okay, if you do one thing really, really, really well, you'll become successful. That's what Apple does, right? There's just one thing he sells, right? And they're the biggest corporation in the world, right? They don't have a million products. What do they have? The iPhone, the iPad, and the iMac, three things, right? And now
Right.
if you do something that great that everybody likes, even though I'm a Samsung guy, you'll see that you'll be really, really successful. So that's what I would tell my younger self is that Amir, like really spend that time to look at that product, make sure that you had it in stock. Because these are all my mistakes I made when I was younger, right? Make sure you do, make sure you do, make sure you do. Don't get Uncle Larry to do your emails. Really spend your time doing it, right? Because those steps broke you in the beginning. So really look and understand, do the hard work that you don't want to do, because that's what you wanted to do. You wanted to
Got
do
it.
it. Now you got to do it.
Do it. Yeah. Action. So nice. Wonderful. Yeah. That's a great piece of advice for anybody, actually. Wonderful. So now we hit the fast five questions where you can give me very short to a word answer.
Okay.
What is something you wish you knew earlier?
Focus. I think I said it before. Focus. I just really just focus and to go look out and ask it. Like the reason I came up with that simple idea of asking your friends your mistakes, that came down the line. Because other mistakes I made before, no one told me. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of people telling me after I'm done with something I failed. What's wrong with it now? So that's what I would ask somebody. I wish I knew that earlier because I would ask that from the beginning.
What do you cook best?
What do I cook best? Oh, well, Pakistani food, obviously. So you go back to your culture, right? When you really want to try to do something great in this machine, I love to cook the things I know that I've been eating since a kid. I take my mom's recipes, I put them in the machine, and that's really where I go, okay, does this technology do what I want it to do? So I go to the things I know. Pakistani food.
Excellent. What would you be if you were not what you are today?
Oh, I would probably just be a computer programmer. I love, believe it or not, talking to a computer. Building complex database systems is something I really love. So I would probably be in machine learning or in AI because that's like I love the technology side of tech. I just love to solve problems with computers because once you've done it, you realize how much better your life gets. Like everything you do, it just becomes easier.
True, true, very true.
Mhm.
What are you still working on as an entrepreneur?
Robo Chef, Robo Chef, Robo Chef. I made so many rules. Like I try, like it's so much fun. Like I get opportunities sent to me all the time. And I've told myself, I'm like, Amir, you're not allowed to play in other pools right now. I just don't. Right now I put 100% of my attention on this project. I do have other businesses that I have to still participate in, but my energy is just on this. Like I really want to see if I put my attention to just this one thing, what will become? Because I think I have a close to $1 billion idea. I go, let me see this to fruition. I really want to see what it can do. So right now, just focus, time, and then when I have free time, I play the guitar, I play the piano, I cook, I hang out with the kids. But businesses, I try to focus on now one direction.
So, one word to describe you?
Nice guy? I don't know. I have no clue. Somebody who really, that's an interesting question. One
Oh,
word for me?
that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, like I would say that I'm a helper. I like to be helpful. Um, I like doing things for other people that make their lives better. And that's actually where I feel like the Robo Sous Chef is actually like, I don't, not to push my product, but that's exactly what it does. It makes people's lives easier. It's technology that makes your life easier. Like that's just part of me. Like it's like just being helpful is something so important. And I feel that's part of being nice, right? Like mom told you, being nice means to help, right? It's that definition of who I am. So I guess that what I would say. I'm a nice guy who likes to be helpful because that's everything I kind of do and everything I do.
Fantastic. Oh, that's so beautiful. Describing yourself as helpful is very generous and very nice. Yeah, that was fantastic. Do you have any message for our audience today?
If you have an idea, try it. Try it, learn about it, play with it. Don't be afraid of it. And I tell you that you get, you're gonna love it. That feeling of goosebumps you get when you do something right. You get it, and you get to do it whenever you want. So don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Like really, like your fears are just inside of you. It's just a feeling. Don't be afraid of your feelings. Yeah. One thing I do want to remember, everybody, is that if you want to learn more about my product, the Robo Sous Chef, you can find us at www.robosouschef.com.
Yeah. So people can reach out to you for a partnership for your machine, and where can actually where is the use for this Robo Sous Chef? Is it residential or is it commercial?
It's mostly commercial. It's being most of the places it's being used for commercial uses. Right now, it's for office buildings, for community kitchens, cafeterias, the buffets, restaurants, many different applications in food service. This machine can automatically cook food for most food service locations. So it's actually really exciting, and they can always come in to a free live demo in Kendall Park, New Jersey, where they can actually see this technology work. Or they can obviously go onto YouTube and they can watch videos on Robo Sous Chef, or they can always visit on our website at robosouschef.com.
Love it, fantastic. Thank you, Amar. That was great input from you, and thank you so much for sharing your own experiences and your journey with us. And yeah, that was a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best in your so many ideas you have and all your future endeavors. Thanks so much.